If you're expecting a bunch of guru fluff and get-rich-quick garbage, you've come to the wrong place. This show is the no bullshit real deal.
No bullshit real deal.
I'm Larry Harble, and they call me the real deal. Welcome to my show. This show is aimed at providing you with quality information so you can make more profit in the fastest way possible without making costly mistakes from the deals you do.
Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I hope all of you out there are healthy and strong, and I hope you're at least thinking about some of the things you're going to be doing here in the very near future to make more money doing real estate. I just wanted to mention, I just surpassed 3.5 years. That's 182 podcasts. That's one new podcast every week. And at the end of each one of those podcasts, I ask those of you who listen to me to give me some feedback, to let me know what I'm sharing with you is information that you are learning from. Now, to be able to impart all of what I have talked about on each of my podcasts, it took me over 40 years to learn that. That is what I'm sharing with you every week. Now, what upsets me the most is the lack of response from those of you listening. I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing these podcasts to teach you what I and my mentors have done over the years. Everything I tell you is timeless. I give you information that works at any time and in any market. Because I rarely hear from many of you out there, I have no idea if I'm helping you or not. And this upsets me. So I need to ask this question. Why haven't you sent me a request, an email, a text, or any type of correspondence letting me know that I'm not wasting my time? And if you aren't getting any value from what I'm sharing, maybe I'm not giving you any value and I'm simply wasting my time every week trying to help. When maybe you feel you don't need my kind of help. Well, I don't know for sure. But I'm going to assure you that what I want to share with you may not be the latest fad, or what I teach isn't maybe sexy. But I'll tell you right now, solid knowledge from someone who's seasoned and has been involved in many deals that teaches timeless techniques and strategies is going to be far more valuable to you than all of the bullshit I hear from some of these younger and less experienced podcasters who don't have hardly any long-term experience. And many are talking about things that will not put money in your pocket. It just sounds like it. It takes work. I don't care whose techniques and strategies you use, it takes work. And if you're going to be successful, you're going to work. I hate to break that news to you, but you have to work in this business. So, I used to follow some of that bullshit when I was younger. And for some reason, what I learned from most of them, it was incomplete at best. I just couldn't go home and pull the trigger and do a deal. So if you'd like me to continue, do me a favor. Send me a note. Tell me so. Ask for future subjects. At the very least, let me know I'm helping someone out there. Okay, now I'm done complaining. I've got another great subject for you today, and that is getting title insurance is the most important thing you can do when doing a subject to deal. Over the last 2 podcasts, I've talked about doing subject to deals because I get a lot of questions on subject to deals from many of my students. Very few from you out there in podcast land, but the students that I do have, they want to know how to do subject to deals. Well, see, investors have been doing subject to deals for decades. Some investors do them intellectually, and some do subject to deals haphazardly, simply because they don't know the procedure to follow, and they don't know what paperwork they should be using. Now, another point I want to clearly state is, if you ever do a subject to transaction, always get title insurance. If you don't, you have no idea what you're taking on into your life. Without title insurance, you may be stuck with code enforcement liens that were on the property when you took it, a line of credit the property owner didn't tell you about. How about an IRS lien, a child support lien? That's just to name a few, that if you accept the deed to the property, with any of those liens attached to the title of that property, you're going to be forced to pay if you decide to ever sell the property. Now, I talk to inexperienced investors who take properties subject to, who try to save a few $100s, and they don't get a title policy. But I'm going to tell you, without knowing what is attached to the title of the property, you could be forced to pay off those items you didn't know about. That could cost you thousands of dollars. You had no idea were attached to the property. As a matter of fact, if there were liens or judgments of the seller you didn't know about, could take away some or all of the profit you thought you were going to get in that deal. Without getting a title search done, at the very least, before you accept the deed to any property, that you're making one big damn mistake, I'll tell you that. Now, while we're on the subject, another problem I see all too many inexperienced investors make, they get the deed to the property, and as soon as it's recorded, they either start rehabbing the property or they immediately start renting the property without changing the property insurance policy. You see, without changing the insurance policy, that could be devastating for the investor who failed to change that policy from the homeowner's policy to a vacant policy or a hazard and fire policy, a liability policy, a flood insurance policy in some areas, a builder's risk policy. You see, if the investor leaves the insurance that the homeowner had on the property after they deeded the property to the investor, that property, and have moved out of the property, and if something were to happen at the property where the investor files a claim, the homeowner's policy will not pay the claim. That could be devastating for the investor financially, and if someone got hurt at the property, the investor, they could be facing a major financial situation that in some cases could cost the investor everything they own and be forced to file for bankruptcy. I've seen that happen before. So this would not be good. Now, another real problem inexperienced and uneducated investors make is they don't follow a procedure along with all of the paperwork that needs to be signed by both the homeowner and the investor. Now, you always want to do a title search before signing any agreement to do anything. Please do that first. Then you always use a purchase agreement that states what both parties agree to. If the homeowners are a married couple, have both the husband and the wife sign individual power of attorney forms naming the investor as their attorney in fact, and have a deed prepared transferring ownership of the property from the homeowner to the investor or the investor's company, whether a corporation or an LLC. Next, make sure the homeowner understands completely that once the ownership transfers to the investor, when the deed is recorded, they must move out of the property. If the homeowner who wants to stay in the property isn't able to pay their lender, if they're in foreclosure, what makes you think they're going to pay you if they stay? And next, the homeowner must move out so the investor can fix the property, sell the property, rent the property, or whatever the investor plans to do with the property. Now, yes, there is a procedure to follow when doing subject to deals. There are also a list of paperwork you need the homeowner to sign. Without all of this, you're exposing yourself for instant recognition by the lender that ownership has changed, that they may call the entire loan balance of the existing loan the homeowner had put on the property, or the property could be lost by the new owner, the investor, to foreclosure. I'm going to tell you, one thing is for sure, you can't have too much paperwork that helps you protect you in the event the homeowner ever comes back at a future date claiming they were taken advantage of at the time when they were in a desperate situation in their life. That could be devastating for the investor if this were to happen without the necessary disclosures and documents. Now, knowing how subject to works and what the necessary disclosures and paperwork you need is monumental for your financial future when you're doing subject to transactions. If you'd like to learn the in-depth strategies of subject to, contact me at larryharbolt@gmail.com and request an article I wrote that gives you the information you need to be far safer than if you do this type of a deal without this information. Email me at larryharbold@gmail.com and get your copy for free. It's free. Now, I also recommend signing up for my 3-day land trust training, where you're going to get the actual step-by-step procedure to follow and all of the suggested paperwork and forms you need to do any Subject to deal. Now, you got 2 choices. How to sign up for my 3-day land trust training. You can go to my website, larryharbold.com, or contact me at larryharbold@gmail.com. If you have any idea you would like to get more information about doing Subject to deals, I do not recommend doing Subject to transactions without this key information. You got to be smart. Do the intelligent thing. Educate yourself before you do something you later wish you hadn't done. Go to my website or email me and sign up for my 3-day land trust class so you have a far better chance of not getting into trouble because you try to do this type of a deal on the cheap. Now, if you're not willing to learn as much in a safer and better way, you may be doomed to financial disaster. Contact me now so you're prepared for many of the homeowners who will be facing future disasters in their lives, losing their homes in the coming weeks. Get prepared now. Don't wait until everything and everyone will be going after those deals. Let me help you be prepared. For those that contact me now for my article, I will also send you another article called Unwrapping the Mystery of Subject to. Both of those are in depth. The first one is 7 pages. The second one is 30 pages, but it's in-depth information you need so that when you do the land trust class and you get all the documents and the forms, you have everything you need, and you won't have to worry about that, because that is what is critical that you do. So that's going to about wrap up this episode of my podcast for this week. I hope you found some value from today's topic, and I invite you to head on over to larryharbold.com and register to keep up to date with my tips and ideas to help you become a better real estate investor. If you're not already registered, head over to larryharbold.com/register to get access to my free phone script on how to negotiate with sellers over the phone. And please be sure to tell a friend and leave me a review on the podcast player you're using to listen to me right now. I tell you, your reviews help me to know that the information I'm providing is valuable to you. That is critical. Be sure to check out my courses, articles, and available trainings on my website, and watch for my Facebook Live posts I do every few days. And be sure to check out my coaching program that I do with Ed Fonseca at makingbiggerprofits.com. makingbiggerprofits.com. This is an affordable mentoring program for those of you who are getting started, or even if you've been in the business for years. I share my knowledge in great depth. So this is something you want to check out, makingbiggerprofits.com. So I hope you all have a great week. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Until next time, this is Larry Harbold.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal Podcast with Larry Harbold. To learn more about investing in real estate, head on over to larryharbold.com and register for his educational tips and articles delivered by email.